Hello, folks. If you're just joining us, you're welcome to another edition of Just Banter. And today we're discussing Nigeria at 60, a closer look. Talking about Nigeria, the independence 60 years ago, the amalgamation since 1914, what have we achieved? What have we seen so far as a nation? We have on the show tonight Barrister KALOMA DAHIRU, a politician and a legal practitioner, and we also have Mr. KUNLE LAWAL, who is the executive director of the Electoral College. Now, before the break, KUNLE LAWAL, we were talking about the ethnic divisions this generation. I was lucky enough to have gone to a federal government college. I left for a federal government college at the age of 9, all the way from Lagos to Kaduna. I met a lot of people. I developed a vast network. A few years later, I moved to Federal Government College of Commercial, and I met another network of people. Now, for our generation, going to unity schools, what is united about Nigeria? Why do we have this particular peculiar challenges that we have? If we still had, say for instance, the system of governance where you had the House of Chiefs as members of parliament and all whatnot, would we actually be in this position that we're in as a nation?
We already operated bicameral legislation, and we're operating a parliamentary system of government like the UK does. We probably have the House of Lords and then the normal House.
Yeah, House of Parliament.
But we've also done something in our federal structure and the greed for power. We have unconstituted native authorities, which is where you find yourself where state governors actually pilfer rightful ancestral control. And this has been always a funny situation that has occurred a lot. So looking at the unity of Nigeria and now coming to unity schools and I don't believe having a House of Lords will change the system in Nigeria because we already have destroyed that whole system. So the unity schools, not only the unity schools at the time, Nigeria itself was not that, how would I put it, biased or nepotic at the time. And this was because of maybe a few factors. Let's be honest. As of the time, the schools in Nigeria were few. So it was even easy for you to have a cultural mix in a school. Now with more multiple schools, we have more unilateral ethnic actions in schools. And I explain this because while in ABU, there was no even private university in school when I was in ABU. And at that time, you had people come from Lagos, you had people come from different places. I actually didn't even understand the ethnic diversity or how much the crunch was till I got into the real world. That's after university.
Okay.
And that was when I realized how strong it was. But pre that, what were the steps that actually seemed existent? It was simple. Competition was less based on the federal character. And if you study this, and I'm going to compare this to education in the North, if you look at the Federal Character Commission, it was instituted to help the quota system and ensure that the whole Nigeria is catered for. But what it has done is that it has divided Nigeria more on more ethnic lines that it could ever have been at any point in time, and it has also murdered meritocracy, which is the most disturbing factor. And the reason why within our generation, you'd rather want to shake a guy with a G class than talk to a guy who probably came to Keke to an event. And that is the same situation we see going on. So when you exponentially expand it, it's the same result for governance. You can't run for Senate if you do not have 200 million, 300 million, which is shocking under the Electoral Act. INEC has a stipulation that nobody should spend more than 40 million on a Senate race. But what we have,
how can the INEC dictate 40 million for a Senate race when even to fuel your cars, when in terms of running a convoy for your campaign, how much does that come to?
I just remembered, when you were speaking earlier, I just remembered what it was that I wanted to say. You were talking about the sufficiency of our policies in Nigeria and everything. But there's something which we always forget, and it's fundamental. No law or policy, you understand, is only as effective as the social, economic, administrative structures under which it's going to operate. You can have the best laws and the best policies, but the issue, they're not going to operate in a vacuum. So are they implementable? Or in law, sometimes we say that there are questions that you can take to court are things which are justiciable or not, which means can you actually, if INEC has a stipulation about the minimum amount of money or maximum to regulate campaign finance and campaign expenditure, if they don't have the infrastructure for them to be able to monitor that and ensure that it's done, then it doesn't really matter whether you write it in a book. The sufficiency of our laws, in terms of intent is very okay. There's nothing wrong with them. They have the right direction and everything. But in terms of implementability and in terms of effectiveness of those intentions and how you can translate them to practical reality, that is where the problem is.